Is today the day you're gonna set yourself free, brother or sister? You've suffered for way, 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 way too long. Me, myself, I was in fast food for 4 years. I was at a coffee shop. And the job that I do now, compared to the job I did then, no exaggeration, I do nothing. Obviously, I do something, but compared to a fast food job, I do nothing, right? And in itself, it's not hard, but in fast food, when there's no labor and there's shitty managers with high expectations, but shit to work with, like no workers or shitty workers, right? Or workers with baggage, right? But since there's no other workers to get, they have to keep the workers with baggage. They have to keep the shitty workers because they don't have options, even though they act like they have options, but they don't have options, right? Why are you dealing with this? I'll tell you why. 4 or 7 of the deadly sins, you're probably dealing with all or just one or something, right? So there's lust, there's gluttony, there's pride, there's sloth, there's wrath, there's greed, there's envy. An example for lust, I had a friend that dealt with a store manager. She was extra flirtatious at a fast food spot. And the guy obviously stuck around longer than he should because she was flirtatious, even though she had a wife and kids, but that's neither here nor there. But once you kind of come to the realization, like, she ain't gonna let me hit, what's the point, man? I'ma just quit. So I feel like that one's an easy one to leave, but I've seen lust work better in other situations, not necessarily fast food, so you guys would know better than me in that. And gluttony, I mean, if you're working at a fast food spot and you're suffering and you're dead inside, and the only reason why you're there is for the food, from a financial standpoint, go to like a grocery outlet or a discount store for food. But if you're there because you just like their food, get help. Pride. And this one's actually a big one. This one's what everyone works with or deals with every day. It's either you have a lot of pride or you don't have that much pride or you're somewhere in the middle, right? It's not necessarily a yes or no thing. I feel like once you attach yourself to things that don't matter, like for example, like at a low entry level, you're like, I'm the fastest fry cooker, or I make sure I greet every customer that walks in. At a restaurant, that probably makes sense to like greet every customer, but if you greet every customer at a food spot, you're gonna lose your mind, brother. Right? So once you stop caring about like these titles people give you or you give yourself, and you just do the things that you're supposed to do, you see, you just break free from like the social norms and the social expectation. You don't find any emotion from it, right? Because that's controlling you. You realize that's controlling me. Hey, like for example, some really cringe like manager stuff that what they would do would be like, hey, like you used to be really fast at like doing these things, but you kind of fell off. Like, so what's going on with you, man? Right? A gullible or a not smart person would be like, huh, I guess you're right. Like, there is something wrong with me. I'm going to be faster and I'll be on top of it and I'll make sure everyone else does it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you're putting money in their pockets. Supervisor doesn't even get bonuses from a company, right? So what's the point? There's no incentive. That's why the turnover meaning people leaving and leaving and leaving and leaving and leaving the company, right? But that's the reality they have to face. It's so shit people leave. The devil's in the details, I think, is what the saying is. That's some people learn about pride a little too late in life, or who am I to say a little too late, but almost when their life is over, right? They say like with pride. I feel like caring about what people think to that extent is the highest form of slavery because you're just doing things not for yourself. You're obviously we're supposed to be selfless people. That's how we work in a society. But when it comes and it detriments your health and your relationships and you have no time other than just doing your job, it's kind of like you gotta find a work-life balance, man. Sloth. I feel like with laziness, yes, fast food workers do work hard, no doubt, But what they're doing is super replaceable. You have to be someone that's hard to replace. And hopefully, in the future, robots just take over fast food, because being a fast food worker with all the high metrics, all the high standards, all the high expectation, it's exceeded, it's gone beyond human comprehension. Like, one human cannot handle those many things. That's why when you look at the fast food spots, they offer a lot of mental health benefits and discounts, because your head's gonna be fucked up. Wrath, they're not gonna tell you that, you know. Wrath would be like revenge. I guess you're dealing with shitty workers, shitty managers, shitty customers, and I guess revenge would be like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna be better than you. I'm gonna work harder than you. I'm gonna be in the same position as you. At the end of the day, you're making more money for them, and the growing process is gonna be slow, and it's not even gonna be worth it. Like, people care too much because it's not fulfilling. That's why there's so much a perfectionist with it, because they want to feel something, right? I want to feel like I made a difference, but in actuality, you're just exploiting people. But in actuality, they're really thinking like, wow, I really reached standards with shit to work with. No workers, shitty workers, overworking my workers, and the stupid saying like, oh, working shoulder to shoulder with our workers, right? You gotta see through the glass. And our youth is being taken advantage of. You know, you work there for like a year or two, maybe more. Unfortunately, more. I fell victim to that. It's my fault. But I'm happy because I'm free now. Greed. The excessive desire for material things. You're not gonna buy anything if you're a store manager or even a district manager. You're still broke for what you do, right? So I guess with material things, I feel like it'd be like I could replace that with social things, brownie points, right? Like I said, the highest form of slavery. Like, hey, I guess I gave an example of like a low entry position example. Like, hey, I'm a really fast fry cook, and someone like a manager said that I'm not, so I'm gonna be even faster now. Prove them wrong. With like the store manager or like manager, I guess it's just like having a sense of like leadership, feeling something. Like I said again, it's not real, man. It's just poop. It's the best way to describe it. Just poop. It's the whole video. Hey, quit your job. You're in poop. Envy. I feel like jealous towards another person's happiness. I wasn't necessarily another person's happiness. I feel like I was, in my example, right? I was more jealous of a person's like what I perceived as freedom. I was jealous of another person's freedom. Like, hey, how come this 300, 400, 500 pound person can be wrong all the time and tell me what to do? And it looks like if they were in my position, they wouldn't even be able to do what I, like a quarter, maybe 1/18 of what I could do, right? But then when you realize, like, this person isn't free either, they're just as stressed out as me. Even though they don't physically do anything, they have so many things to uphold, right? But yeah, man, just quit your job, bro. There's jobs out there. Even if you're in between a job. What I mean by that is like, oh, if I quit right now, I have nowhere else to go. Dude, Instacart, DoorDash, Uber, there's like apps where you can take care of dogs, babysit. So many like freelancing type of jobs, you know what I mean? Like, dude, you gotta wake up. There's miserable people in there. There's customers that want things immediately. They don't say thank you. They don't say hello. They don't see you. You're not seen as human. Do you understand that? You're not treated as human. That's why you feel like shit. Not because these people are treating you like this, because you're letting it happen to you. The world's gonna tell you everything that's wrong with you, right? But if you let them keep doing that to you, that's gonna kill you inside. Yeah, man, just quit your job. That's it. Simple. You're free. You're free today. What do you mean I'm free? I still work, Brian. You're still working a 9 to 5. How are you free? I'm free because I work the hours I'm supposed to work. There's no baggage from other workers. I'm free to a higher extent. I'm not fully free. I don't think I'd want to be fully free, right? Temptation. Yeah, man. I know it's like simple if you never worked in fast food. Like, yeah, I've worked at a job where I don't talk to anyone and I just do my thing. That's a luxury, man. People just, it's like a cycle and they harvest your energy. And I'll dive deeper into that because we hear that, but no one really ever like dives into it. At least I've never seen anyone dive into it. Just a couple of people, but basically the people at like a higher position than you is like they feel shit, so they're gonna put it on you and they're taking your energy. Like this person's so happy, he's so new to life, he's like a fry cook. Let me treat him like shit. Let me get his energy. So if I didn't treat this guy like shit, I would just be feeling like shit. But let me harvest his energy, and this will kind of let me keep going on this shitty ass manager position. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, just get out of the rat race. Get out of the hamster wheel, man. It's simple as this. Just making that decision, just quitting. See you guys next time.